Hi, I'm Patty Blinderman. Welcome to ADHD-Friendly. As an ADHD coach, my passion is finding ways to help you thrive with your ADHD. For more support, check out my website, ADHDfriendly.com, for membership information if you'd like even more support. This week, I'm going to be celebrating a reward trip that I went on. I'm also going to update what I spent money on this week. Hint, I'm wearing one thing. And then I'm going to share an ADHD-friendly tip on how to use humor to break out of procrastination. And then a product of the week. And our main topic is ways to bust through procrastination so that we are getting started. Plus, I'll highlight my book of the week. Let's dive in and make this week a little more ADHD-friendly. All right, welcome. So episode 181, celebration. We wrapped up the winter semester, and I know we're full in April and spring now, but I planned an end of winter semester trip to celebrate as a reward for all of the things I did to keep up with creating the winter semester course. So went on a long weekend with my husband back to North Carolina, spent the time with my kids in Raleigh. My husband and I had one night in a hotel, and then spent the rest of the time with my daughter and her boyfriend, and just had such a great time. Went to where my son is working and saw that kind of setup, which was like, he's working as a beer tender, which I'd never heard of. So I wanted to go and see, like, what does this look like? I didn't even have a concept. And that was really cool. A lot of kids. It was a PTA like fundraising thing for an elementary school. And I was like, it's a brewery. Right. It was very interesting. And he said that was very unusual because it was so loud. All these kids were running on. But overall, it was still fun, and I'm glad I got to see it. And then we went out and we saw 8-Track Minds, which is my my son Peyton's and his dad's band, and just we danced and sang along, and it's just 70 songs. If you're in the Raleigh area, oh my gosh, go to 8-Track Minds and look up their upcoming shows and go. It is so much fun. Some of the same people were there from when we went a few months ago, dressed in their 70s gear, doing their dancing. It was so much fun.
The groupies for the band.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Peyton is singing so much more now. Like when I went last time, I think he sang 3 songs.
Right.
And this one he is like full on like the male lead singer, because the woman that is the lead singer is amazing. Like her voice is just crazy good. But Peyton sang like, I want to say like 7 at least songs total. Like, yeah, it was like really, really cool to hear him. And he's just so into it now. He's just, you could just, the confidence is fun. So it was a great weekend, had a lovely time, and really like the perfect amount of time. Came back Saturday night, still had Sunday to sleep in and do laundry and get caught up, get the grocery shopping done, everything for the week. So it was kind of just the perfect getaway. So I really, really enjoyed it because I planned it. I looked forward to it, and I did feel like I earned it. That was a long celebration. All right. So what I purchased this week, I shared, I don't remember, an episode or 2 ago that I got the new cardigan that I bought. It was a shop sample, but I didn't have anything to go with it shirt wise underneath. So I ordered 2 shirts. They were each $8.99 on Amazon. They worked out great. I got to wear it on my trip. It was like the perfect weight sweater for spring Raleigh weather. Everything was like full on blooming, and the trees had like leaves. It was really weird.
That was weird.
We were still like full on, like coming out of winter here.
I know we might be getting snow like later this
exactly. Yep. I thought twice in the forecast in the next 7 days. We're in April, we're going into April. But as I record this, we're going into April. I know this comes out in April. And then the other thing I purchased was I got this shirt jacket on clearance. It has multiple pockets. Yes. This was at Costco. It was $11.97.
Cute. It looks nice. It like not.
Oh my gosh, it's a little thick.
Yeah.
But it's very comfortable. It's very cozy.
Good.
And so I held it up and I was like, done. Like, so like I did not have to think about it. So that was a great find. I love it. All right, now for my tip for this week's episode. I'm sharing something, and I don't know if this is going to resonate and make sense to other people, but it makes sense to me, and it just makes me laugh. So I thought of this when I remember when my kids were younger, and I used to be like laying in bed, and I shower at night. So I'd lay in bed, and I know I have like bedhead because I would always, go to sleep and my hair's still usually partially wet. And I would lay there and I could hear them getting up, and I would start running my to-do list through my head of how many things I had to do even before I could leave my bedroom.
Right.
Because when I leave my bedroom, and this is the way it is still to this day, I have done everything. My hair is done, my makeup's done. I am dressed for the day because I don't have time to go back upstairs. That is probably one of the best things that I got out of, besides my kids. The kids are great too, but one of the other great things I got out of the structure, is that it really solidified. I still have a really hard time. Like I can't not. It's so hard for me to cut. Like on Christmas morning, I'll come down still in my PJs, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me not to just keep going because I know I have so much resistance to go back up and do anything else that I just want it done.
Yeah.
And so, I used to lay in bed and think of all of those things I'd have to do. And then I would think of, and then I've got to get breakfast going, and I've got to make sure everybody has their lunches. Like my mental list, and I've got to make the coffee. I've got to, get the kids in carpool. I was so tired thinking of everything. I wouldn't even get up. I would just lay there and just literally like looking at the clock constantly going, okay, if I get up right now, I could give up coffee. I can have that when I come back. Okay. I can still do a few, like constantly negotiating the morning routine for the last possible minute to get by. I would just procrastinate. And then I would kick myself all day because the things I sacrificed in my routine would really get in the way of the rest of my day. So if I went and I wasn't fully ready for the day and I still had to come home and go upstairs and finish, it was horrific.
Yeah.
And so I came up with this image of instead of the Terminator, it was the Procrastinator, where I would think of it as like coming in and like, I'll be back. It's like, I'm going to like not procrastinate and bust through procrastination. So whenever I'm unmotivated or tired, I have that image of, instead of going from like the PJs and the hair a mess and, kind of like bed face with, creases on my face from lying against the pillow all night, to procrastinator, like busting through it. And now I'm ready for the day and I'm going on. And that image of it always just kind of got me up and going instead of thinking. And that was one of the best hacks, was I don't let myself think about what I need to do. I make something that I learned from my mentor coach, a fierce prompt in the morning that forces me to get out of bed. So right now I have my iPad in the bathroom with an alarm set for 5:30. So my alarm goes off at like 4:50, and I let myself snooze because I do like the snoozes. But if I'm not in the bathroom at 5:30 to turn that thing off, it's loud. And it wakes everybody up. And so I'm so aware of that I will get up and go in there to turn it off before it turns on.
That's smart though.
Yeah, but it stops me from getting in the way of my own thoughts. So now I can just lay in bed and read and know I can snooze and read.
But then I gotta,
but I'm still aware of the time, but I'm also not thinking about all the things I'm procrastinating on. So just I wanted to share an example of a funny way to get out of procrastination, because what we tend to do is what I used to do, which is just ruminate and beat ourselves up and then just keep thinking, why didn't I just get up? If I just gotten up, now I would already be finished getting dressed and I'd be headed downstairs, but still I'm just laying here thinking about it. And now it's making my whole day more stressed. So it's just a way to break out of it. So if the procrastinator works for you, if you like that idea, I invite you to try it. Post in episode 181 if you have another strategy that has worked to help you break through procrastination. All right, now on to, I skipped my product. Product of the week. All right, it's a simple one. I got this for my trip.
Ooh.
I love Burt's Bees. It's just a tinted lip balm. This is Red Dahlia.
Ooh.
Have you ever used their tinted?
I haven't.
So I've never used the tinted. Love it. And here's what I love.
Yeah.
I love that it looks dark. It's really not.
Yeah.
It's just a little tint.
A little something.
Lovely.
Oh,
it tastes lovely. It has like a little minty.
Love that.
Keep it in my pocket.
Does it smell minty?
Yeah,
too?
it smells lovely. Sometimes lip balms have like I'm like, why do I want that on?
Chemically.
Yes, I'm like, I don't want this on my mouth.
It's in your mouth.
Yes. Or I can smell it because my nose is right here.
It's very sensitive.
$4.99. They do have it individually. I found it on Amazon. I just bought this at Target.
Yeah. And they have other colors?
They have other colors. They have them in 2-packs. They have them in lots of different ways. So this is the first time I've ever tried it, and I am loving it.
Good.
So
stuff.
yeah. just wanted to share that since it was a quick, easy find and it made it really, I just tuck it. It's so small. I could tuck it in my pocket for travel. And instead of just, I'm a girl that I always have
Something
on my lips with a tint, with a color tint. And so that's enough. If I don't have time to do the whole lip thing, I just have that and I'm like, oh, lovely. Or if I go to a restaurant and eat, it's in my pocket. I'm like, lovely. And it feels like I can put on a little chapstick. I'm not getting out lipstick in a mirror and, it's like, I can do this.
Smart.
So, all right. That's my product for the week. All right. Now for my topic. Procrastination busters. So my all-time favorite tool to bust through procrastination is, of course, my ICNUP menu. This is my ICNUP menu. And I share this in my personal owner's manual course. This format is in my new book, Create an ADHD-Friendly Personal Owner's Manual, a Balm. It is based on Dr. William Dotson's model for how we get engaged, how we start things. And it's an acronym. The I stands for interest. The C stands for challenge. The N stands for new or novel. The U for urgency. And the P is for passion. Sometimes we can't always bring our passion into it, but when we can, it will absolutely get us into action. And so for my personal menu, I have a list of the tasks I tend to struggle getting started. And I grab little icons and drop them in my menu because just words by themselves were a little bland for my eyes. And I just found myself not pulling it out to look at it. I like color. I like pictures. So my menu I've customized to make it work for my brain. I always encourage you, what would work to help you break through procrastination, especially on those things that are patterns for you, the things you always have a hard time starting. So with calls, my example is I have a script, especially like if I have to call the doctor's office. Oh my gosh, I need a script. I have a challenge, finish it before lunch, so I don't let myself go to lunch. And I also have that urgency because I know doctor's offices all go on break and I don't want to miss that window. I use my business phone. I like I have a corded business phone. So it just makes it feel like I'm calling, like I'm like an office. I almost puts me in a mindset I'm calling for somebody else to schedule the appointment. It's not for me. I can schedule things for other people much more easily than I can for myself. So it just makes me feel like I'm doing a business call for someone else. I bet my husband. So this creates the urgency. I bet him $10. I can get it done before he can do something else. And it just ups the game. So just remembering the strategies can really help me start to do things that I'm struggling with by using my ICNUP menu. So another strategy is rewards. So I also have a treat yourself menu. It looks very similar, but this is organized by things I can do in 5 minutes or less, things that cost some money, things I can go outside and do for free, things that are relaxing, and things that I can do to connect to other people. Again, I invite you to structure it in a way that works for you if this is a sparkly idea, but often building in a reward is something that will make it interesting enough for me to get started and bust through that procrastination. But the trick is for ADHD brains to make them as immediate as possible. So I just shared my example of my end of the semester reward for finishing 3 months of a semester course. And it was a lot more fun than I anticipated, but it was also a lot more time planning and implementing than I anticipated. So the end of the semester was very sparkly, but I do often need to build in, like if I'm doing slides for a workshop and I have to create them from scratch, I do have to build in immediate rewards I get to do as soon as I'm finished with those slides. So, or I have to break it down and figure out what's the very first thing I could do and then I could stop if I need to, because I come back to it much more easily if I've started than if I just feel like I have to go from 0 to completion. So one of the things that can help is temptation bundling. And so that's when you do this, when you do this. So I'm going to tie this into like my walk routine example. I only walk I only listen to my audiobook when I'm walking. So it's this thing I get to do when I'm doing the thing I want to do, but I'm having a hard time starting. So if I have something that's earmarked that I only get to do at that time, it helps me to do that more consistently. I do this with podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm walking.
When you're walking.
And that's usually the time I do it. So if I start one, and this is one of my favorite things, I'll start one during my morning routine where I'm getting dressed and
Ready,
makeup and
yeah.
everything. And that it's often like an hour-long podcast. So I'm not done. It doesn't take me that long, thankfully. But I want to hear the rest of it. And so then it's like pulling me
Ooh,
into,
like,
I don't let myself finish listening.
And you are.
Yep. So then I only finish it while I'm walking.
Smart.
So these are the things I only do blank, the thing you want to do
Yeah.
when I blank, the thing you're procrastinating on. So temptation bundling is another strategy. One of my favorite strategies, I've talked about this before, is to remove obstacles or to create resistance. So I always say, if somebody in the house has the TV turned on in like the family room,
Yeah.
if it's something I'm even remotely interested in, I will just like literally realize I'm sitting down and watching it and time has gone by.
Yeah.
It's not even like I made a conscious decision. It's like,
Sit
oh,
down.
you're here. I love this. It's like Malcolm in the Middle zone. I'm like, I love this episode. Or I just watched the scene and then before I know it, I'm like all like, oh, give me the blanket. And I'm like all like settled in.
Big 20 minutes
Exactly,
already.
exactly. And of course, if it's like Netflix or something, it just queues up the next episode.
Yeah.
And so it's just so difficult. So I will take the remote and put it away at night so that it reminds me. So if I go to turn on the TV or if somebody else is like, hey mom, I'm like, nope, no TV. It's not going on. It does not serve
Purpose.
I'll
Right
say
now.
it doesn't serve me. It might serve you, but it's not going to serve me. So I put it away so that I know where it is, but I make it harder. Yeah, I make it harder to get it so I remember my intention. Or if you are doom scrolling on your phone, I can't even tell you, I really think we're starting to hit a point in, at least in American culture, where something's got to give.
Yes.
They're everywhere all the time. It's almost, it used to be funny. Now it's like really sad for me to like go to a restaurant and watch, and everybody is at the table looking down all the time. And again, I don't even think people are thinking about it. I think we're just on our phones.
Yeah.
And so if you know that that's something that you just find yourself mindlessly doing, maybe it's charging your phone in a different room, or my favorite thing, the little phone jail where you put it in, you lock it and you tell it not to unlock for an hour or at a specific time so that it's there. It's plastic. I mean, you could break it if you really want to, but the phone jail is it's a decent price where you're not going to want to break it.
Yeah.
And it just makes it easier. It's almost like out of sight, out of mind. It's so much easier to stay in your intention instead of trying to resist it and use up all of your willpower trying not to go and pick it up. So there's that. Another is break into a little tiny step. So I mentioned this a little bit before. So if you're trying to exercise, maybe you just commit to putting on your shoes. Walk around in your workout shoes. Maybe you don't do anything more than that, but it's more than nothing. I always find if I put on anything that's kind of workout related, my energetic connection to it is much more heightened. And so I'm going to be like at least standing up and moving, even if it's inside my house. Whereas if I'm in my sweats, but I don't have shoes on, I'm going to be more likely to kind of just sit down and stop moving. Yeah. So, or my other favorite hack is just sit on the yoga mat. Like maybe you're not going to you don't know what you're going to do, but if you get the mat out and sit down, you're probably going to do maybe a few sit-ups, maybe a few stretches, maybe, a few push-ups, something. So make it so small that you don't have resistance to do it is one of my favorite hacks. Trying to clean. This is I found myself scrolling last night looking for my Alice housekeeper, just trying to see like what are the going rates now, because it feels like everything has gotten so expensive in the last 3 years that I looked and it was saying for like a 1,500 square foot house, the average price is $150 a week. And I was like, that's $600 a month. That's like a car payment.
Jeez.
So I was like, who can do this easily?
Seriously.
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but I just thought that's a lot of money for regular ongoing cleaning.
Well, then I wouldn't have them come once a week. I'd have them come like once a month or every other.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, then of course the price for the deep cleaning less frequently is of course more.
Dang it.
I know. Believe me, I know. If I was like, if I could do $300 a month, maybe. Yeah. It's like, I feel like it's just one of those things. So I procrastinate on cleaning. So one of the things I like to do is just get the vacuum out and plug it in. I am so going to vacuum if the
If it's
plug
plugged
is
in.
plugged in. I hate plugging in the vacuum. I don't know why I have so much resistance for that. But once it's plugged in, I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
Especially with my new vacuum. It's
I
very
was gonna
sparkly.
say, yeah, your new
Then the
one.
cook's long enough. I can finish the room. It's
Good
all good.
stuff.
Another is just put music on. If I'm sitting still, I have one of those little Apple home pods,
Yeah.
and I will just from a stagnant position, I
Yeah.
will just say, I don't want to say it because I don't want to turn on, but I will just ask it to play, 80s hits or 70s hits or
Ooh,
something.
something
I've
to
been
get
playing the
you
70s hits a
moving.
lot because that's what the 8-track Minds plays. And it just
Love
reminds
it.
me of being there and hearing them play live
Yeah.
music and dancing with my kids and my husband. So it just creates energy. So if I just put that on, obviously the TV's not on because I'm listening to music. So I'm like, I'm now going to go and clean.
Yeah.
So it's just I'll just turn the music on and that will often get me going. So again, think of something small enough that you can just hack your way into it. My other favorite and final tip is set a 5-minute timer. Just see what you can get done in 5 minutes. I can definitely wipe down the counters in 5 minutes. And that transforms my kitchen. Like, it's like, okay, at least the counters are clean. That's the thing that I'm seeing the surface of the most.
Yeah.
Or I'll just wipe down the kitchen table and tidy it. 5 minutes. I can stop and do nothing else. And I still feel like I've gotten something accomplished. So just pick one spot, set a timer for 5 minutes and go until the timer goes off and then allow yourself to stop. Something is more than nothing is always my mantra when it comes to breaking through procrastination, because I'll procrastinate myself out of doing anything. So if I can find a way in to do something for 5 minutes, it's a win. Okay. Finally, guys, the book of the week. I'm saying that like it's really exciting. It actually wasn't an exciting one. It was very good though. It was very good. So it's an older book.
Ooh.
It's by Stephen King called The Long Walk. This actually came out in 1979. I had never heard of it, and I've read a lot of Stephen King. It's one of the ones that I like. I would say I like Stephen King books that keep their feet rooted in reality.
Okay.
So it doesn't delve into the supernatural. It's kind of a dystopian book. So if you like things like The Handmaid's Tale, where it takes place here on Earth, just at this kind of like, Hunger Games, like this made up time. It's actually very much, it reminded me a lot of the Hunger Games. And I do wonder if this is something that she read and got some ideas for, because the premise is there are, and I don't remember now how many kids walk. I want to say there's 100 and maybe 150. I don't remember how many walkers there are, maybe 200. I don't remember. It's terrible. I should know. There's a lot, but they have to be, and I didn't write down the details. It's so funny. My mind thinks I'll remember.
Right.
I think I want to say it's kind of like Hunger Games ages. It's like either 12 to 17 or 12 to 18. And it's kind of a sick premise. They start in Maine.
Okay.
And they walk. And they have to walk at a 3-mile pace, which doesn't sound terrible, except they can't ever go below it.
Oh my gosh.
And if they go below it, they get like a strike, like a warning.
Yeah.
And if they go below it and they have one warning. If they walk for another hour without going below the 3 miles an hour, you can walk as fast as you want, but if you go below it, you get a strike. If you walk another hour, you'll have that strike removed.
Okay.
If you get another strike within that hour, you have 2 strikes. If you don't get one of them removed, and you get 3 strikes. Once you have 3 strikes, if you don't get rid of those and you get another one, guess what happens?
You die.
Yeah, they kill you. They kill you. And none of the kids know this when they start walking.
And
I don't
they
know
have
how,
to walk?
and I don't know how they don't know this.
Right. Like it's not
Like, I think they think they can kind of still opt out. They can quit. They're like, oh, never mind.
But they have
when
to
they start like, no, they volunteered to do the walk and
okay.
they were selected. And I think they were selected based on their answers. I don't want to give too much away, but they have to fill an application. And I don't think I'm giving anything too much away when I think they kind of pick kids that are kind of like depressed and maybe like not suicidal, but not have like great lives,
not
kind of
super
thing.
peppy.
But what you win is
what do you win?
You kind of find out, but it's like whatever you can imagine, basically.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Can there only be one?
There can only be one winner, and you never stop. And I mean never. You don't stop to go to the bathroom. You don't stop to eat
or drink.
You go to the bathroom while you're walking.
Ew.
Yes. And if you slow down to go to the bathroom, that's fine, but you're going to get a strike. Yeah. So The premise was fascinating. What got me into listening or to reading it was I was listening to a podcast where I think it was Smartless, and Mark Hamill was the guest.
Yeah.
Well, he plays the major in the movie. They're making it into a movie this year. It comes out in 2025. So of course, anytime I hear a movie's coming out and it's based on a book, I want to read the book.
Yeah.
So if that is a movie that would interest you, I do highly recommend it. It was a very good read, very fast, but it is dark. It's not at all a happy, like, oh, that was thing. It was a bit of a downer, but I love Mark Hamill, and the major is kind of an interesting kind of like the leader of this walk.
Right.
And I think it'd be really curious to watch him play that. So I probably said way too many details. Just one more. I'm sorry, I told you more than I normally do. And I'm sure I have, like, if your post, like, it was probably they walked 4 miles an hour pace instead of 3. Like, I don't know. There's details I'm getting wrong because I did read it a few weeks ago, but I do recommend it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was very good. Okay, now for my quote of the week, and this is from The Long Walk, the book. The quote is, "If people just took it one day at a time, they'd be a lot happier."
Ooh.
So yeah, I mean, this book left me with like lingering images, even though it was just a book, like it creates these images in your mind. Because think about it, if you can't stop, and you know if you stop, you will be killed. So think about like the condition of some of their feet.
Oh, yeah.
And let's just say like they walk into, and like the longest this happens every year, and the longest anybody's ever made it is into Boston from Maine.
Walking.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like think of how many days in a row without any sleep and without slowing down below 3 miles an hour you have to go. It might be 4 miles an hour, but anyway, I digress. That's it for this episode 181. I hope you found something helpful to try out this week to help you struggle less and thrive more. Leave whatever doesn't work for you behind. And if you're looking for more support, ADHDfriendly.com. You can sign up for my membership and join in the spring semester that's just getting started. Until next time, tally ho.